So I came out here today expecting a nice, quiet, solo pack trip. What I didn't expect was to find my missing donkey Diesel standing in a herd of elk. Yep, we found him. That's Diesel, and yep, we've got some explaining to do. If we haven't met, I'm Dave, and welcome to my channel. Stick around for a pretty darn special pack trip. I think you'll enjoy it. So I'll try to zoom in enough to where you can see them. There's probably a good 30 of them. And I did spot Diesel. He's kind of hard to spot. Okay, that's zoomed in. He's in the middle. He is clearly the leader of the pack. When he takes off, they take off. And they're none too happy about me being here. But so he's there right on the left. Kind of right there. He runs around, he herds them up, tells them there's danger close. So today I'm going to go on a little pack trip to a place that they often go to and see if we can't get a closer look. But I'm going to turn this off for a minute and try to throw some carrots out there and see if I can't convince them to come closer. Probably not likely. We're all loaded up, getting ready to head in. We're about 70 miles away from the Pacific Ocean in the foothills. It's mostly oak habitat. There's a lot of elk. Hopefully Diesel, the wayward donkey. And there's a fair amount of wild pigs, a few bears. Shouldn't take us more than 2 hours to get in there, probably closer to an hour and a half. It's a pretty easy trail, but there's about 1,000 feet of elevation gain and about 1,500 feet of elevation loss. So, Patriot here, he's actually pretty light. He's got 100 pounds on him, 50 per side, which is a light load for him. He'll go at 160 all day long over terrain that's a whole lot rougher than this. So let me get saddled up, we'll get away from these cars, and I'll talk to you shortly. We're making the climb out. Haven't even got a mile yet. It's kind of steep and Ginger's a little out of shape, so she's not going as fast as normal, but we're cruising. There's the grass kind of looks brown, but it's pretty green underneath. There should be a nice little buffet waiting for him at camp. And Cinch, he's going back and forth, back and forth. We're heading up. We got about a mile till we get to the top, and then it's all downhill. We'll find out if I know how to saddle up yet or not, because there's a couple spots that will absolutely test the pack saddle. We're at the top of the hill, getting ready to drop down in. Probably can't see it on this, but there's a little fog behind us and all clear in front of us. We went from freezing fog to an absolutely beautiful day. It's probably 60. We're gonna go through Chaparral for a little while and then drop back into the Oaks. Well, we're about halfway in. We're starting to get out of the chaparral into some oaks. Ginger, the mule, she's on fire today. Averaging 3.5 miles an hour. So not gonna take us very long. Let me turn this thing around. So I don't know if you can see it, but there's kind of a not green meadow down there. That's where we're going. It's right on the creek. Got about 800 feet to drop. Patriot, he's cruising along. He never misses a bite of, whoo, fell in a hole. Never misses a bite of grass. I don't allow them to do that when they're in the bridle. Whatever they can grab in a pack saddle, it's all right with me. Kind of follow a cat road from a fire that went through here about 10 years ago. So you just, basically we follow the ridges down. So there's the meadow we're going to. Not sure which side of the creek, depends on how fast it's flowing. Probably can't tell from this, but this is some steep ground. Ginger here, you could use kite string for reins. Yeah, a little shade of the oak trees. Cruising right along. Oh, looks like old Patriot wants a break. Better stop. Whoa. Ginger, she's not a big fan of stopping. Down there on those flats is where we're going, but it's a little further than it looks like. I think I saw a couple elk down there, but now they're behind the trees. Tend to not be as spooky down here away from the road. Well, this isn't the trail. This is the way I always come into this camp. One of these days, it's going to be a detour. Back in the Oaks. Easy. Ginger, whoa. Okay, we are almost to camp. I inadvertently put this on time lapse, didn't intend to, but it looks pretty cool. So we are coming into camp, and then it's time to unload the animals and get settled in. So I'm unloading camp, another time lapse. I know this might be boring, not sure, but this is kind of what I do when I get to camp, only a whole lot quicker than I do it. So stick around and we'll show a little camp. I was a little under the weather on this trip, so I didn't do a lot of filming during the camp, but there's more to come on the way out and some more story about Diesel. Well, I'd like to say good morning. Wasn't too hungry for breakfast this morning, but we're having carne asada tacos. Tacos for lunch. It's afternoon, so probably tacos for dinner too. Good morning. We are heading out. Last night the fog came in and it was frozen fog. Yay me. But it's all clearing out now. There's still some patches. I always walk for a little bit before I saddle up. Let them settle in. Double check the tack. Ginger, she wants to be home. So it's about a 7-mile ride. It's pretty easy. Can't remember the exact elevation gain, but 1,200 feet-ish. So we'll saddle up here in a few minutes, and I never did see Diesel. Didn't see the elk. They can be pretty close, and you still might not see them. But we're gonna swing by where I saw them coming in. They were Diesel and the elk were starting to get a little closer. I was throwing a few carrots out into the field. They're hanging out with the elk and the cows. And just when they started getting closer, somebody decided to start target shooting pretty close. So that was the end of that. So this is not a place I go very often. In the spring, it's absolutely beautiful, tall grass. And then once summer hit, star thistle and all kinds of sharp, pokey things come up, and it's either pretty darn cold here, and then immediately it goes to one of the hottest places in California. Doesn't cool off, not a lot to eat. There's a nice little creek over here, but it's certainly not the best drinking. It comes out of a very populated lake. So I always bring a couple gallons of good drinking water when I come here, and only filter the water if I have to. Patriot, he's doing good. That walker hitch is holding tight. Making the initial climb out of the canyon. That's where we came from. Only takes about 2 hours to get out of here. It's pretty easy trail for the most part. Couple pretty steep spots, but hopefully I get to spot Diesel the wayward donkey. cover a lot of ground in a day. You never know where they're going to be. We've gained 1,000 feet. Animals are doing good. Averaging 3.5 miles an hour. So this is the spot where Diesel the donkey got away from me. So Diesel was a Bureau of Land Management donkey. Came from the White Mountains out of Death Valley, California. And this was a training trip, and I don't know exactly what happened. I was with a buddy of mine. We had Diesel. We had a couple llamas at the time, and we were walking. And he wasn't carrying very much, but we were coming out. He was carrying all my gear. And new pack saddle and all that stuff. Well, he spooked up here and ended up going back down the trail all the way to the river, and so down we went, and he just kept spooking, wouldn't come. We ended up getting to the truck at about 2 o'clock in the morning. So I was able to call, this is about the first spot you can get cell service, and I was able to call my wife, and she went to town on social media and some of the rescue sites, and the next morning there were dozens of people out here looking for him. He got spotted multiple times, but nobody was able to catch him. And we had a guy sent a drone up. He was out here. He got permission from BLM because you aren't supposed to have motorized vehicles out here, and they let him come to about here. And he flew that thing for about 2 weeks straight. Never spotted him. So I think it was 1 or 2 days later, I was pretty nervous because he had a pack saddle on him. Well, I think it might have been the very next day. A trail camera spotted him. No pack saddle, but he still had his halter and his lead. And a couple days after that, he was back to wild. Got that halter off, so at least without that stuff on him, he was not going to get caught up and hurt. And so there's a lot of hunting out here, so there's a fair amount of trail cams, and he'd get spotted by hikers. To this day, I get videos and still pictures from him on a weekly basis. It might go a couple months, and then all of a sudden you get a whole bunch of pictures. All summer long he follows the elk around, and in the winter he's figured out that the ranchers feed the cattle, so he follows the cattle, and so do the elk. And coming in, I saw him. I wasn't able to spot him. He didn't come to where we were camping. I know he does sometimes, but I've seen no elk tracks here. So that's kind of the story of Diesel. Never found the pack. As you can see in this brush, you'd almost have to step on it to find it. I searched and searched and searched, and so many kind people helped me look for them, and everybody thought, no problem, man, we'll get some horses there. We'll get them. Well, you aren't getting them through this. So that's kind of the story of Diesel, and he now is truly living his best life. He's healthy looking. His hooves look good. I've gotten close enough to kind of see his hooves with the binoculars anyway. Usually about 150 yards is as close as you can get to him, because it's a pretty large herd of elk that he's with. So they're cautious. He's cautious. Fishing game. Found a mountain lion that had been stomped by hooves, and that's the only hooves out here. So it was springtime when the elk were calving. So I think he was protecting the babies, and a mountain lion came in and he did his job. So it's probably the most protected elk herd ever. A lot of people think it's fake, that he's on a ranch somewhere, because there are some fences out here, and some of the elk are collared by Fish and Game, but they are very much a wild herd. So Ginger has not stopped, and we've gained about 1,200 feet. I mean, look, we've gained 1,100 feet, so I think it's about 1,600 feet you gain actually. So he's standing guard. It's probably pretty hard to see him, but thanks for joining along. Never ended up seeing Diesel or the elk at camp, but we certainly saw them all near the trailhead. If you want to hear more about this crazy story, leave me a message. Love to talk about it. It's kind of a bittersweet story. Keep your loads tight and your coffee hot, and we will see you next time.